You've got something you're passionate about, and that is 99% who you are. No one else is going to be able to make that better but you. Do not listen to anyone else's insecurities being projected onto you. You just go for it. Life's short.
Meet Nikki Fogden-Moore. She's a coach and author that empowers CEOs and founders to achieve success through intelligent, stress-free living.
I have one set mission, and that's to make sure that good people hold the world's wealth. That is really it. When you're an entrepreneur, you're not like anyone else. You don't need the same advice. You need very agile, intelligent, grounded decisions.
Working with her, it starts all the way from free videos, free podcasts, to then 60,000 to 150,000 a year.
I'm always chasing how can I add value and change people's lives. That's my first point. I believe that profitability is more important than turnover. Every morning I wake up and think, how am I going to help my customers today? That's it. I love what I do.
Welcome Nikki Fogden-Moore to the show. Nikki is a coach and author that empowers CEOs and founders to achieve sustainable success through intelligent, stress-free living. She's a force in self-leadership and peak performance. Nikki, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Matt. It's exciting to be with you today.
Yes. So what's your mission on this planet? Let's start off with that.
I have one set mission, and that's to make sure that good people hold the world's wealth. That is really it. That underpins every single thing I do. So there's an old book years ago that was Sell the Ferrari and Become a Buddhist Monk. I don't know if you remember that book. I think, be a good person and keep the money. So my job is supporting really good values-led leaders to do really well, to be profitable, to be successful, to not opt out, so that we have really good people holding the world's wealth, making great decisions, and companies are the new communities. So I feel like the better the leader, the better our community as well. And it's really it's a self-fulfilling thing now. It's really exciting.
I love that. Real quick, in your previous life, what did you do before, and what was the inflection point that made you start focusing on exactly that mission?
So I think I've been doing this since I was about 4, but didn't know it. I used to when my dad had a big snooker, which is like billiards, in the house, and I'd sit on the back of the sofa and score the snooker games, and all his mates would come and ask me these questions like, shall I buy that horse or that property? And I go, I don't know. So I've always had this gift, but essentially I have a very integrated, world-class background. I'm really lucky. I've worked in athlete management and branding and strategy and PR and television from a very young age. And then I have a health and fitness background, so I combined that with his head trainer for women's health and fitness for years and years, doing all their content and videos and writing all the programs. And then I started taking CEOs and executives away on founder fitness, which I called body breaks, on health, mind, and well-being, and kind of integrating that when I was working in agency life. And this has just all become, like a brick on brick on brick evolution. And I first started sort of CEO and combination strategic wellbeing retreats about 15 years ago. So I was one of the first people to really start doing strategic retreats in Spain, because I lived and worked in Europe for many, many years, over a decade. And I'd take all these CEOs to the Kempinski Hotel, and we'd do what was then called the body break. And that you must know the Kempinski chain. So I started and founded kind of this essence of the ultimate Fitpreneur was healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I've just built that and built books and programs and traveled around on my soapbox going, there is another way. So I think it's a combination of brand strategy, well-being, and also mindset and psychology that have integrated 25 years of experience.
Love it. Sign me up. Real quick. What do you like? What's the offer then? The actual offer today, and where does it start on the low end, lowest price point? Where does it end on the high end, highest price point?
I mean, the lowest price point is free. I've got like hundreds of videos and podcasts and radical reminders, and as much content as possible to say to people, it is really simple. You just have to be willing to do the work. And I think when you go up to highest price point, you're talking at between 60 to 150 grand, depending on whether you're looking at CEO coaching or working with a team. And that's really a deep dive, package, which is completely bespoke. Then you've got your middle ground. I think with the app, what's really great is I always call it Nikki in your pocket. So you don't have to coach with me. You still get a lot of the essences. You get all the online programs, and you can just it's all available at any time. And that is really important to simplify and reduce overwhelm, that you don't have to go to all the different platforms. So I think for the app, having a free element and then being able to access, the vision and the worksheets and everything in one app, including podcasts, videos, online programs, push
Yes.
notifications. They can have me as a coach anytime they want.
Love it. Who is the ideal client today? And if I were to interview them, what problem are you truly solving for them?
My ideal client are people that I think have always worked extremely hard, and they're just never going to give up on doing the very best they can. And they know with all the work that they're missing that secret ingredient to swap chaos for calm. They're like, there must be something. Why? And they just need that next level, that chiropractic shift. They're intelligent, they're well educated in terms of life, not necessarily book education, but their experience. They know BS from positive. That's not their first rodeo. They don't want to be sold anything. They actually want someone that's like a navigator with them, that can part the sea, that gives them a good runway, that lights it up for them, that has deep
Right.
experience. And so I get people out of that fuzzy thinking, head in the hands moment going, this is just so heavy. I'm doing everything. I feel like I'm responsible for everybody. And I really put them back in the driver's seat. So it's that pain point of when it's just like, oh, for gosh, this is just so, why is it so hard? I must be missing something. And then somehow or another, the universe gives them a galactic call up, and I come in with my clipboard and we get going together. It's really great.
Love it. Love it. What software tools do you use to deliver value to your customers? So Passion.io is something that you're starting out right now. What else? Like is there Zoom and what else?
I use Zoom, and I think I'm a classic person. I built my own websites and I understand a lot of software, but I like simplicity. So I actually use Google Hangouts a lot. I find Zoom has been really interesting, a pain in a lot of ways, and then also Teams keeps dropping out. So for me, Google Hangouts, I know from a security issue as well, it's been really interesting working with, how do you protect my clients' integrity and security, and privacy is number one. Because I deal with a
Right.
lot of people that's the one thing they come to me for is ultimate privacy, and no one needs to know who you're coaching with because they're finally a safe place. So platforms like Zoom, I've had Kajabi before. I'm migrating to Passion.io, and I feel like
Yeah.
this is the big crunch point we were talking before we started recording around one of the critical factors in your business where you're not so software heavy. Like there's Monday, there's ClickUp, there's Pipedrive, there's so many things. And I'm sure like any founder, we've got like 10 of them going on at once. And what I constantly do sort of every quarter is review all those systems and platforms and go, what is easy for me and my team? What's just
Right.
natural? And then I look at my balance sheet because, man, the amount of subscriptions we have with all these software programs, and what are they really providing apart from bits and pieces everywhere? So consolidating my software programs is really important. The ones I always maintain, Zoom, Google Drive, Dropbox, I love. And then also, I've used some other platforms, but I keep going back to the basics, to be honest.
If you think the creator economy is really interesting, then I got something for you. On milliondollarcreators.club, we actually created a database of all the creators out there, and you see not just their fans, followers, subscribers, but actually how much money are they making. So with that, we bring now transparency into the creator economy, and you really see how are the best of the best get their customers, price their offers, create their offer stack, get customers, which tools are they using, how will they grow and triple their business going forward. So if that's interesting for you, including lists of who makes the most revenue, who has the fastest revenue growth, who has the biggest audience, who has the fastest growing audience, who makes the most revenue per follower, and who has the most exciting offer stack from low end all the way to the high end, then go to milliondollarcreators.club and enjoy the data. Nice. Let's go on. Maybe one more quick one before we go into the customer success story or the customer section. What year did you launch the business as is with the current offer stack?
With the current offer stack, I think I launched it actually in 2009. But the difference, the current offer stack, I launched, like I have not changed my stack. I've just changed my courage, I would say. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So then let's talk about success. So how many paying customers do you have today, and how many new ones come in a typical month?
Well, I think now we're like our opt-ins are really, really growing. I haven't even looked before I jumped on this call. So off the app and on the app, we're talking about thousands of memberships, but on a low price point because I just wanted to get the information out. So as little as like $2.99 to $9.97, just giving people access to as much as possible. And then in terms of the high-end coaching, I've actually got a strict rule around the number of CEOs and founders that I work with per year. So I like to work deeper and with less people. So I have 12 private clients a year. That's it. I cap it, and I'm in the trenches with them and their companies and their families. And then I have corporate and speaking. So there's a real difference between what I call your online members and people that can, get this access and on-demand content at any time, to those where everyone says scale and don't be personally involved in your business. And I think while I've got the energy and the intellect, and I really, really enjoy the coaching, I feel like it's a duty of care and an act of service, and something that's really my passion to work side by side with these leaders. And I'm not ready to give that up.
How does all of that translate into a typical revenue month?
Well, a typical revenue month, I think, is anything from 50 plus on a base level, depending on whether I'm doing corporate. And then, when you get into those 7-figure businesses, you're looking at like, what's your quarter? Because I feel like there's seasonal things as well, especially when you're working with corporates. And that's really important. So what's interesting about anyone building their app at the moment, depending on their offering, is I white label part of my content. So when I'm working with corporates going forward now, the package includes a portal on my Accelerate app where we're building out content off the back of a workshop and the worksheets and the surveys that I do that's inside Accelerate. So I'm really interested to see how we double that revenue with very little effort, but maximum value for my clients. That's going to be really interesting. So our baseline revenue through programs is around 40 to 50. And then when we come up now, it'll be interesting seeing how we're integrating a lot of those corporate tools to provide simplicity for those clients too.
To understand growth so far, how's the business progressed year on year? Is it coming from like a few years, nothing, or since 2009, like pretty much stable at the 50K a month?
No, I think like I would have started, and when I started my business, I gave everything away for free. I really did. I really had a problem charging and understanding price rates. And I got, I don't like selling. I have to change that script because I felt I used to get massive anxiety around, what do I charge people? One time I was in New York with a client and he said, Nikki, why don't you fly in on your private jet? You've made us, our company is tighter. We're so profitable. My family's happy. I feel great. What are you doing? And he said, he unlocked something for me, because I love animals and looking after my community. And he said, the better you do, the more you can give back. And that unlocked a real commercial acumen for me. And I just went back home and I just dived into the books. But I also realized I had really not great advisors around me. So you've really got to think about your accountants, I pretty much have my own imaginary board of directors and I have great mentors. But unless those people are driven to see you thrive, they will just give you the cookie cutter, box standard. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're not like anyone else. You don't need the same advice. You need very agile, intelligent, grounded decisions. And people that can help you think differently. So I think I poured a lot of money into the business when probably I could have tripled my business revenue in the first year without even knowing it. I didn't understand that. And I wasn't chasing that. I wasn't chasing what's my monthly revenue. And I'm always chasing how can I add value and change people's lives. That's my first point. And then from that point comes back, how is this profitable and how can we be proud of the business and how are my team happy and how can I make this a legacy? And that's really what we're building the business on at the moment.
Yeah, love it. Quite often people want to make it also accessible, like sell it for like almost no money and then like everyone can do it. But then ultimately you realize, hey, no one is really valuing it, number one. Number two is you don't make any money. So you cannot like build something which is of value, build up the business further, create something which is of even better value. And ultimately it's failing. So like that mindset shift is very inspiring what you just shared. I completely agree with that. Real quick, how much of the revenue is recurring?
I would say more than half now. In the beginning, it was very dependent on, but that's also due to client relationships. Like, I really think this is an interesting hustle mentality we've got in the online market. And my biggest advice to anyone starting the app up and everything else is be connected to your customers. Like, you're better to have fewer customers that are highly engaged and love your content and you can beta test with them and feedback. And those are your customers that you'll have for life. People will come and go through drive-through, but your customers for life pay your bills. And generating relationships where someone is not just a transaction, that's I think put me in a position where I'd procrastinate starting things that were online because I felt like I couldn't connect with my customer. But via the app now and working with Passion.io, my next list with Passion.io is to go back and work about notifications and push live and things, and how can I get upfront and personal with my customers. So I think, yeah, it's an interesting.
Before we continue, there's one favor I would like to ask. If you enjoy what we do here and you enjoy the guests that we bring, please join $1 Million Creators by hitting the subscribe button. And if you do, I'll make you a deal. I do everything in my power to make this show bigger and better for you. Do we have a deal? Enjoy the show. So I just said Nikki is making 50K on average, but that's the baseline of revenue. And with that, 50 times 12 would be 600K. But actually, I learned the revenues be higher. So where are you right now, Nikki?
We're looking at around 1.2. So we just cracked that, but we've got a big goal for the next 2 years.
Lovely. So that's 100K a month, 1.2 million a year. And what's the big goal?
Well, we want to triple our revenue from the base business, but also every one of our programs will have a giving back aspect. So when we do well, we also give back as well. And so every part of the business has a giving back element in it. So we share that.
Love that. And maybe double clicking on that real quick. What do you do with the proceeds? So let's say you have a small team, you make 100K a month, likely 80% or so of that is profit. So 80K, what do you do with the 80K?
Well, I'm reinvesting everything back in the business. So it's not, I wouldn't say 80% of that is profit. I think that'd be a really great thing. But right now I'm actually reinvesting. I'm doing a docuseries. We're working on a whole new book, a whole new platform. So we're taking a lot of that money at the moment. So the last and that's why I said turnover versus profit are two different things when you're looking to scale and grow your business. Yeah. And so for me, I'm reinvesting a lot. I also always have 3 charities a year. So this year we're doing a Mojo syndicate for smart pups. They're assistance dogs that go into families that have like mental health or Asperger's or epilepsy. And these assistance dogs change the lives of individuals and families. We also donate to Wishlist or to Katie Rose Cottage, which is hospice care. And then we do community and foundation things around men's mental health and women's wealth and legacy for underprivileged people or getting out of domestic violence. So I would not say that we hold on to our profit at the moment. I would say I'm a self-funded organization. I've bootlegged everything, and everything I earn, I pour back into the business to scale and grow. So we need to do well to do better. And with the growing cost of softwares and platforms, you've really got to be smart about how you grow that business and grow your team to support the goals that you have as well.
Okay, but let's say revenue after COGS and let's say OPEX should be like is likely 50, 60, 70-ish. And then like you have a bottom line and then you decide that you put money into charities, into other things, into what you just outlined essentially. Would that be correct or?
Yep, but at the moment I'm heavily like investing back into our new content. So to create a docuseries and everything else is a strategic decision. Yeah.
Okay.
So like normally I would sit with that, but actually we're taking that to make this next phase of the business, which is exciting. Yeah.
Let's talk about the cost side of the business real quick. So how big is it? Is it you and a few contractors? So like fairly small. And quite often I hear people say I have a net 80%, like net 80 business. That means 80% of revenue is actually profit. Whereas that as well. And just understand, if I were to have the secret chat with your accountant, what are like the biggest items on the cost side?
Yeah, I think my biggest items would always be rent, operate. So OPEX and CAPEX, right? So a lot of my cost of sales and things around my coaching and retreats and everything are very product specific. But to operate my business, and this is a great question. I think everyone thinks you have to have a team of 25 and a big office space, and it's all around what you show on the internet. And since I've started, I've still got the same contractors with me, designer, video editor. I've had one admin office girl that's been with me for 10 years. So I like to say a boutique, highly profitable, highly agile, highly values-led business has given me the ability to stay truly authentic and not sell my soul for size. So I believe that profitability is more important than turnover. You can have biggest turnover, but 95% of that goes out the door because it all looks good. But actually, you're
Yep.
scrambling underneath the surface because managing staff has to be the biggest headache. So companies like yours, which have a high capacity of really great service people and everything else, I'm always going, wow, that's amazing, because that's like not becomes 90% of your job as a leader, is
Yep.
motivating your teams and everything. So I, by choice, am a boutique profitable business, because I've always worked in large organizations and with big, large organizations. And really, to be perfectly honest, people are buying me. They're not buying a widget. But that doesn't mean it's not certifiable, the program, and the IP isn't transferable. So how I've set up everything is that my IP and my trademarks and my products are transferable products and they have value to them. And that's really the next scale and grow part of the business. Yeah.
Let's talk about customer acquisition, lead gen, real quick. So you have a following of like 18K ballpark. That's
Yeah, 18
6K
to
on
20. Yeah,
Instagram,
it's pretty I mean, I'm terrible on
4K on
social media.
LinkedIn.
Don't look
Yeah,
at me.
3,600 on Facebook. So
Yeah.
email is 3,500. It's fairly small, and you make decent revenue.
Yeah.
So how do you get awareness about your offers? What's the funnel from awareness to purchase, and what's your secret and actually to convert and grow?
Yeah, and I think this is a very interesting time of my business. If we would like to pin drop today, Matt, and go, let's come and look back
Yeah.
at 6 months. So with that very meager social media presence, I find that the genuine best clients I give come through either a podcast or an article I've written. Like I've written a lot for like CEO Magazine, Fin Review, Body and Soul, Forbes. I do a lot of content and writing, and I think that genuine personal written, not AI written, but when you really know your stuff, it attracts the customer in, and it's a complete match, because especially a podcast. So I started podcasting in 2013 before it was even a thing.
Oh,
So I started the Vitality Coach show, and then it grew into the Mojo Maker, and then it's Radical Self Belief on Spotify. And I've actually stopped for the last 6 months, and I'm going to launch a whole new show, very exciting, from scratch. Because I think the reason that I'm successful is because I'm genuinely interested in delivering great value for my clients. And I've got a very great upbringing with my father, who is just a great man. And his thing was relationships are more important than a transaction. And it doesn't matter if you have a relationship with thousands of people on your online program. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger's app I love his app. And I have to say, love him or hate him, whatever your personal views are, I think he's a great marketeer. And he actually really cares about connecting with his people and getting all his mojo out as much as he can. He knows he's on a limited time frame. And even if you're someone that doesn't know him, he's writing to try and speak to you. And I think that type of language where you're creating content because you're speaking to that one person that's in the end of that phone or in the end of that article is what makes successful business, is clarity about your why and who you're talking to.
100%. Let's talk about the future. So you said it's an interesting point right now in your business. Going forward, next 12 months, let's say, can you triple the business, and what strategy or tactic will get you there?
I'm going to say yes. I am. My goal is to do that, actually. A triple is what I would call, the big audacious rock. Anything towards that will be wonderful. My strategy is to get there is to come out of hiding. I feel like I've had all these great products, but I stand behind the bus station and I'm like, hey, I've written 3 books. And like, I feel like we used the words courage earlier. So I really had to stop and look at my own limiting beliefs around what does success mean to me, and how would I then bring to market tools that I knew could actively help people get out of overwhelm and have sustainable success. And I had to get out of my own way. So now that is going to be delivered by campaigns. I'm also working on a really amazing documentary series that goes into my next book. So the docu-series, the book, and into the app will all come into this. Also, the new podcast is this package of the culmination of decades of work and all the books before that. So they all beautifully stack in to this ultimate message. So that is, reach, relevance, and opportunities, RRO. So how do you reach your audience? How is it relevant to them? And what are the opportunities for them to connect with you? That's my strategy. And to broaden that and to be gutsy about it and to go, no, wait, I deserve a place on that platform. I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm not a one-hit wonder, and it's my time. And if I don't step up and take this exploited mindset industry, like the diet industry, the fitness industry, I've been in the fitness industry for 25 years, and go, whoa, let's not sell shit to people. Let's actually help them become better and leading themselves. I think it's going to be a winner. And Passion.io is very much, I would say, 80% a part of my journey to achieving this. Yeah.
What's the biggest thing then holding you back personally, and what's your best bet to resolve it?
I think I just touched on that, which is my own limiting belief around not wanting to stick my head above and get knocked down. And in Australia and New Zealand, we have something called tall poppy syndrome, which is, don't be too successful. And in America and other things, it's celebrated and encouraged. And it doesn't matter if you've failed 17 times. And here it's like, oh, look what they did. And which is, I wrote a book on radical self-belief because I've got a great mindset. I've overcome a bus accident as a child at boarding school, and I've been stung by a jellyfish and nearly died and came back. And I've had all these moments. And then I've also had moments where people in business have taken IP and copy, and good friends have done things, and all that stuff has to be your fuel to go, wow, I'm still here. So I think the biggest challenge was only between my ears. The only thing that was slowing me down was.
So how do you resolve it then?
Just coach yourself.
If that's limiting.
Just coach yourself. Identify it. Like, I have this thing called the blurts. The A is what you want, and the B is the blurts. Get clear about what you want, but funnel out what everyone else is doing on the internet and go, what do I really want? Even if it's just the next 12 months. And then as you're filling that out, there's a column on the side, which is your B column. And that's all the BS comments. That's your subconscious going, yeah, but. So what you have to do is you have to erase all the yeah, buts. I would love to do 3 times my revenue. Oh, yeah, but. No. So yeah, but is the way to remove it, because there's always a way.
Yeah, I love it. Real quick, what's the biggest potential marketing channel then for you to drive that massive growth?
I think going forward, it's going to be YouTube and my new podcast, and then working with platforms like LinkedIn, things that I think I've underutilized because it fits my market really well. And my platform, my source, my shop, my home is going to be my app. So my relationship with Passion.io has to be tight and strong, and working with the developers on, how do I get that customer engagement natural, and how do I understand how to use that platform that makes their life just like, because there's so much competition in the market now.
Next section is called Favorite 5. It's a fast-paced section. Let's go with one-word answers. We are 4 minutes behind right now. Let's see if we can catch up a bit. Let's go. What's your favorite book or business book?
It would be, I think and Grow Rich. Is that the Napoleon Hill book?
Napoleon Hill. Yep. What's your favorite way to get inspiration or to learn and grow?
Nature, ocean.
And what's your favorite person that you are studying, your role model?
I don't have one role model. I have many role models. So let's just say, I don't know, anyone that has courage to be successful, from Elon Musk to Richard Branson to the Dalai Lama to everybody that's just doing things that are nobody else has the courage to do. I pull on many inspirations. It's not to do with their, I would not say Donald Trump. However, I'll remove that. That's not an inspiration.
What's your favorite event or conference that you have attended or would love to attend?
I've really enjoyed Richard Branson's leadership gatherings on Necker. And I feel like that's a great source of inspiration and just global thinking and immersion and thinking bigger. And I think for an entrepreneur, it's always important to be around people that stretch you emotionally, intellectually, but also on the giving back and philanthropic way. And I love that gathering.
What's your favorite online tool for building your company?
My brain and then my new app. Yeah, combined, yeah.
What's your favorite city or place that you would love to move to?
I'm already living in at Noosa, Queensland, Australia. Yeah, it's utopia.
Yes. And what's the biggest thing on your mind right now?
How to blow my mind with my business And ultimately, every morning I wake up and think, how am I going to help my customers today? That's it. I love what I do. And then the next thing would be my dog, Max, because I know he's,
Love it.
yeah.
Personal section is also a quick one. How many hours do you work per week then?
Okay, well, infinite. I can't describe that. I don't have a tracker. I do, I have a work-life blend. So I work hard, but it's integrated. So I don't know. Like if it was on paper, you'd probably shake your head. 70 to 80, probably, because I create a lot of stuff.
And how many hours do you sleep per night?
I have 6 hours sleep a night. It's my magic, and I sleep like a baby. I'm early to bed, early to rise. I get up at 4:35 in the morning. I do some exercise. I have coffee as my non-negotiable and champagne. Not in that order.
Love it. And what's the situation? Married, single, any kids?
No kids. I have a dog called Max, and I'm not married, and I'm single, I guess. Gosh, I didn't know this was a Tinder date, but yeah, I have never been asked that in a business podcast before. I love that. Yeah, no kids. I'm not married. This is awesome.
Every time is at some point is the first, right? And what's your age?
Well, I just think it's a great question. I'm age neutral. I identify with 36. I just have not gone past that. And I think that I just feel younger, brighter, fitter, faster, and more agile than ever before. So I don't know. I'm ageless. And I can't answer that question because I'm age neutral. If you can be gender neutral, you can be age neutral.
That's all right.
You can have some comments. People can guess my age on the comments. There we go.
Yeah, it might go viral. So last section is called the advice section. If you were to lose everything and you have to do it all over again, how would you do it?
I'd probably be more fearless, and I would back myself and not get upset or afraid to shine and to stand out there and deliver what I was really passionate about. I think that's the number one thing. And also get informed enough about a subject you've got to hire an expert on that you can ask them the right questions. I've lost so much money on property, accounting, tax, legal. Like really, if I'd asked the right questions, if those people weren't so lazy, but I also took responsibility to know what questions I was asking. So get it prior informed. And don't be afraid to build your brain's trust. I call it your pet crew. So you do not have to go it alone. And then the only other piece of advice I'd give is don't halve what you're doing by thinking you need to have a partnership and divide and conquer. Like if you've got something you're passionate about and that is 99% who you are, no one else is going to be able to make that better but you. You can build people around you, but I think when you're starting, you sort of have a protection of thinking, I have to run a business with someone, or I can only make it work if I've got someone else with me. But really, you're on this planet with your sweet spot and your superpower. And so to sit down and have a mentor that can help you unpack that is probably the thing I wish I had way back. But at the end of the day, because I'm running my business now and doing well because of all the things that I learned. So I don't really regret anything. I actually feel really grateful for the deep level of experience that I've had.
Love it. What's the best piece of advice then that you've ever received from someone?
It would be to get out of my own way. I've got a great mentor, James Hunter. He's head of global acquisitions at KPMG, and he's ex-military. He's been on my podcast, and he's just the greatest guy. He's very humble. And he said, you've always got to remove yourself and then come back at it from a different perspective, because we have a subconscious, and it's just the best advice. So what I always do is I press pause before I make a decision. I step out, and I call it owling. So you know how owls, they sort of look before they swoop? So eagles are like, they're crazy, they go and attack stuff, but an owl just sits there quietly and observes. And I think that moment of observation is the most powerful moment in any decision making.
Final question. If you could go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self, what's the best piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Oh my God. Just go for it. I didn't realize how fit I was. I was head trainer for Women's Health and Fitness magazine. I looked at the photos the other day. I was like, why did no one tell me? And also, do not let anyone push you down, tell you that you're less than, or say be quieter. be less vibrant, be less energetic. Like those are all the things I used to hear a lot. So I started I know it's hard to believe because I've got a lot of energy, but I think I absorbed a lot of that criticism, which is do not listen to anyone else's insecurities being projected onto you. Just go for it. Life's short. Be yourself. Always be genuine. And there's a horrible expression. I don't know if I can put it on the show, but there's a great expression that said, bees don't tell flies that honey tastes better than shit, which means don't try and sit and convince people that don't see the value or have good values to try and do it your way. Just take care of your own side of the street. And it's, I think it's a great expression.
This is Nikki Fogden-Moore. She's a coach, author that empowers CEOs and founders to achieve sustainable success through intelligent, stress-free living. She wants to make sure good people hold the world's health. She was back in the days in TV, a health fitness trainer. And then with Founder Fitness, she actually found the inflection point to start her business. And now she's transitioning into an app, Nikki in Your Pocket. You can work one-on-one with her with XX. It starts all the way free, goes up to 150K a year. And if you want to work hard to unlock the next level in yourself, become a better version of yourself, you should work with her. She is doing this for 15 years now, since 2009. And we've had thousands of customers. And is with that, has built a really good, strong 6-figure business, is cracking the 7-figure soon. The cost side is super lean. With that, she is making, has a very profitable business. And actually, she only has a following of 18,600 across social media channels, but her podcasts, articles that are professionally written are actually creating credibility and trust with the right people that then go into her programs. And relationships are much more important than transactions. So with that, she builds good relationships, long-lasting ones, and will then crack the 7 figures soon. If she can unlock the limiting beliefs that she's done already unlocked over the last years and decades, she will now take it to the next level. Thank you so much, Nikki, for sharing your passion and taking us to the next level.
Thank you so much, Matt.